Welcome to Love in Life, a guide to a positive mindset. My aim is to show you that the key to a happier and more positive mind is to love the life you have. We will look at tips and tools you can use to improve your mindset, and the best thing is, we'll all be on this journey together. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 36 of Love in Life. I've just got back from walking the dogs. And in this last week, I have experienced the strangest weather. Like, I know you guys over the pond, I know you all think we're crazy for talking about the weather all the time, but listen to this. Okay, so last week's episode, I obviously talked about we were getting snow. It did snow. It didn't really come to that much, but you know, it snowed. Within 24 hours, the snow was gone. Anyway, 2 days ago, we had terrible winds and rain that was coming in sideways. Like Alfie, bless him, last night when he got in from school, he walked through the door and he was absolutely drenched. It was so windy yesterday. I took my nan shopping and the wind nearly blew her off her feet, bless her. So that was the weather we experienced yesterday. Today, I've got the washing out on the line. As I said, I've just got back from my dog walk. I had to stop halfway and take my jumper off. Like, this is why we talk about the weather so much in England, is because it is such a big thing for us. Like, you just never know what to expect. And half the time when the forecasts say it's going to be snowing or it's going to be sunny or we're going to have a heat wave, or it doesn't even happen. So like when it does happen, like with the snow last week, it's actually quite surprising. We just don't know what to expect. So anyway, I am currently sitting in the window recording this with the sun shining on me, really soaking up the vitamin D. And what a lovely place to be as well. Obviously, I've been saying for the last few weeks, I've been really looking forward to spring. So I'm hoping this afternoon I might be able to get out on the garden, because I did buy some more bulbs to plant. So I do want to get them in quite quickly, as long as we don't get any more bloody snow. Like, honestly, our gardens must be so confused at the moment. I feel like this is going to take me ages to record today. I'm really consciously trying to up the amount of water that I drink. I went back to the gym a few weeks ago, and I did, for the first time, I used one of those machines where you hold on and it analyzes all your body mass and everything. And my water intake, my body water content, wasn't quite as high as I would have liked. So I'm really trying to make an effort to increase the level of water that I'm drinking. But that also means, obviously, I'm going to the toilet even more so than I usually do. Which is fine if I'm sat here recording this, because I can just pause it, run to the toilet. I'm literally, as you know, I record in my office, which is in the utility, and there's a little toilet down here, so that's not a problem. But when I go out and walk the dogs, honestly, I need to make sure I have a wee before we go out. I need to try and think of somewhere that I can go if I need to whilst we're walking. Luckily, a Starbucks has opened about 20 minutes walk away from our house recently, so that's a usual pit stop at the moment for the toilet and for a coffee as well. And then by the time I get home, I'm literally like crossing my legs as I get up the path. I mean, that's not all that different to usual really, but you know, at the moment where I'm trying to drink more water, I'm just being very careful about what time of day that I drink it. Am I waffling on? Am I sharing too much information? I don't know. I just feel like I really want a little catch up with you guys, because I feel like the last few weeks I've just got stuck straight into it without having a little catch up. And it's nice to have a catch up every now and again, isn't it? But something else I've done in the last week is sign up to a menopause awareness diploma. And basically this just means that I will gain more knowledge on menopause. Now, why have I done that? So obviously, I've not been shy in sharing to you that in the past that for the last few years, I have been experiencing perimenopausal symptoms. And so it helps me to be more aware of what is going on in my body, you know. But also looking at my analytics from my podcast. So according to Spotify, I'm not sure about Apple because Apple doesn't quite give me the same statistics. But according to Spotify, 50% of my listeners are between the age of 35 and 44. 91% of them are female and 5% are male. So, you know, I'm talking to a very large population of females who either are going to start experiencing some symptoms in the near future or are going to be experiencing them in the future. So given my role as a coach who specialises in positive mindset, I just feel that having more knowledge on menopausal symptoms and what effects menopause has on your body, you know, it's going to serve me well, even if it's just for myself. But if I can help anybody else through the process, then, oh my God, I will be so happy with that, because it's not easy. It's not nice. But positive mindset does help. So I'll keep you updated on that. What else did I want to catch you up on? I know, my progress on cold showers. So, you know, a couple of weeks ago I said that now I'm going back to the gym again. Like, I associate getting in the shower at the gym with having a cold shower just for a minute at the end of my shower. But now that's no problem. I can do that. But what I struggle to do is do it at home. So that is what I'm focusing on now, is taking it from just doing it in the shower in the gym to doing it at home, because I only go to the gym 3 times a week. So obviously I would like to make it a daily habit. So again, I'll keep you updated on that. Like, I know you probably don't care that I'm trying to have daily cold showers, but my point is, like, all these things I am researching and advising you guys to try, I try them myself as well. I'm not an expert in any of these things. I research it and I try doing it myself. Not everything I do sticks, but hopefully every now and again I will say something that resonates with you and makes you want to try doing something that might help improve your daily routine. That's all I can hope for. Anyway, the last couple of days I have been in absolute awe of Jamie Lee Curtis. At 64 years of age, she's just won her first Oscar. Like, how incredible is that? The biggest thing for me is, like, it just goes to show that it doesn't matter how old you are when you peak, as it were. She entered the film industry when she was like 20 years old, when she did the first Halloween movie. And let's be honest, she became indispensable to that franchise. They literally couldn't have done a Halloween movie without her. Like, how shit would that have been? Anybody else in those films they could replace, but they would not be able to replace her. And they had, 5 movies out of it? She's been in so many different genres of film. And this has been her only ever Academy Award nomination. And she's won it. Like, I'm so chuffed for her, but also, like, what that represents to women in particular, but people in general, how determination, working hard, but most importantly to me, doing those things in your own time, how it all pays off. And funnily enough, recently I've been seeing, it's either a TikTok or a reel, where she is basically saying how she spoke her husband into reality. She saw a picture of him and told her friend, I'm going to marry that guy. And then 5 months later they were married. So while I haven't seen if she's openly said that she believes in the law of attraction. However, that is a big part of the law of attraction, is speaking things into reality, acting like you already have that thing and attracting it to you. That's how we manifest. I know it sounds like I'm really fangirling over Jamie Lee Curtis, and I am, I guess, but I just really admire, what this represents to us as women. Sorry for the men out there. You've got plenty of representatives. Is that really bad? But it also got me wondering about the other female winners of the Oscars, because we all know that it's a well-known fact that something ridiculous like 58% of all Oscar nominees are white men. So it just got me thinking about what other women have won Oscars this year. Two of the makeup and hair artists that were responsible for the hair and makeup in The Whale, which won Best Hair and Makeup in the Oscars, two of them were women. So that's amazing. The best costume design went to a woman, and that was for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. But I have to say, all the nominees in that category were female. So that was amazing to see. And best adapted screenplay went to Sarah Polley, who is a Canadian actress and screenwriter. And that was for the film Women Talking, which is a movie based on the novel of the same name. And I'd never heard of it, to be honest with you, but from doing my research, I've watched a trailer and it looks so interesting. They're still showing it at my local cinema, so I might go and watch it, but it looks really empowering. So take a look. And finally, how can I not mention the winner of Best Actress? Like, obviously that was going to be a woman, but Michelle Yeoh was the first Asian woman to win an Oscar for Best Actress. Like, she made history on Sunday night. And Michelle is 60. So not only do we have Jamie Lee Curtis, who was 64, Michelle Yeoh is 60, and they're both winning Oscars. Like, fucking hell, that is so significant, I think. At their time of life, after such a long career, they are still reaching their peak. And that is just so inspirational. Another inspirational thing was Michelle Yeoh's speech, and I'm just going to read a little part of it out now. So in her acceptance speech, she said, "This is proof to dream big and that dreams do come true. And ladies, don't let anyone ever tell you you're ever past your prime. Never give up." So, what am I taking from all this? What are you taking from all this? The first thing I'm taking is to dream big. It might not necessarily come for a long time. If you think Jamie Lee Curtis's career started at the age of 20 and 45 years later, she's winning an Oscar, which she would probably agree is the peak of her career. So it might not come for a long time, but you have to have faith that it will come. The second thing I'm taking from it is to work hard. In order for your dream to come true, you have to keep on going. If you give up on something, that's your dream, it can't come true. The third thing I've written down here to take from it is, even though you're working hard to achieve your dream, allow it time to happen. Be patient and do things in your time. So Jamie Lee Curtis raised 2 children, and she adopted her children as well. So that was a choice she made, and she would have had to have taken time out in her career, or at least slow down, to raise her children, because that's what she wanted to do. So she's done that in her own time. She's decided what her priorities are at any particular time in her life, and continued with her career and chased her dream, continuing to chase her dream. Michelle Yeoh has taken multiple career breaks. So it's just proof that, you can still do things in your own time. You can still take breaks. You can still allow yourself to do other things and then come back to chase your dream. Like, do what feels right at that time. And I don't know if they intentionally did those things, like took career breaks or whatever, and then came back to chasing their dream. I'm not saying they intended to do that. But what I'm saying is they are living proof that we can do that and still achieve our big dreams. Which leads me nicely onto my next takeaway, which is not to let other roles in your life hold you back from your dreams. Like, it's okay to have other priorities at different times in your life, but that doesn't have to define you. It can define you for a certain period of time, because we all wear different masks at different times, at different periods in our life, different cycles of our life, but it doesn't need to define your overall life and your dreams. So just because you become a mum doesn't mean that you can't go back to your career, if you want to, that is. Just because you've had a career, if you then decide to take time out to have children, it doesn't mean you have to go back to that career. You might decide that you want to be, you want your full-time role to be being a mum, and that's okay. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be forever, but it can be forever if you want it to be. You might have been a business owner or a CEO of a company, and just because you might find it overwhelming, so decide to take a step back for a little while. Just because you've decided to take a step back doesn't mean you have to step back forever. You might decide to step back into that role later on in life when the time feels right to you. I guess what I'm trying to say is that whatever role we step into as women is powerful, like whatever we decide to do, just like it is for men. And even if you step into a new role for a short period of time or a long period of time, doesn't mean you can't revert back to your original role or your big dream. And these ladies are both living proof of that. I didn't actually mean for this episode to go down a whole feminist, women empowerment route, but it has, and I'm quite enjoying it actually. However, the same does go for men as well. So, you know, the small percentage of men that are listening today, please don't think that this is just aimed at women, because this does equally go for men as well. And I'm sure he won't mind me sharing, and I'm sure I've probably shared it in the past before, but Craig used to run his own business, and he did that for, 5 or 6 years. I have told you this before actually, because I did tell you that whilst having quite some years of success and financial success, shall we say, things did take a turn and ended sourly. And then Craig decided to step back and go and work for somebody else, be employed by somebody else. Now, in this role that he left his company for, his own company for, he is now far happier and far more financially stable than he ever was in his original role. But that's not to say that one day he might not decide to revert back to being a business owner, to working for himself again. You know, don't let what has happened to you in the past define what you become in the future. Don't let what decisions you've made in the past define what decisions you make in the future. Success can come in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s. But if you haven't achieved your success, I don't know if you can hear the air quotes there, but if you haven't achieved your success by the time you're 40, by the time you're 50, then don't give up. Like, don't think that it's too late. It's never too late. Success can come in your 50s and your 60s. For many people, it comes in their 70s. In fact, that makes me think of a lovely lady who I met last week at a meetup for female business owners. And I was shocked to hear that she was 71. Like, she does not look 71. But she is just embarking on a whole new path of life. She is heading off to Spain to complete a Camino. If you don't know what a Camino is, don't worry, because I had to ask her as well. It's basically a walk through, it's like a long hike basically, and Camino means the way. It's like quite an enlightening journey. And if you've ever seen, God, I'm really going off on one now, but if you've ever seen the film Wild with Reese Witherspoon, where she walks the whole length of the Atlantic coast, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, but in Spain. So yeah, she is embarking on this in her 70s. Like, who would think that that would happen at that time of life? Things have happened to her in her things. She's experienced things that have led her to this, the beginning part of this season of her life. And it just goes to show that it's never, ever too late. In fact, when she's back, she's going to be away for about 8 weeks, I think. But when she's back, she is definitely going on my list of people that I want to interview. So, talking about interviewing people, I mentioned recently that I was starting to think about bringing some guests onto my podcast. And I do have a list of people that I want to interview. And the list is growing and growing and growing. But I need to figure out how the logistics work of this. So I don't want you to think that I've said something and then I'm not bothering to do it. I am definitely going to do it, but I just need to get some advice from somebody on how to actually do it. If anyone knows, then please do let me know. I do need help and I do need support with things like that. So yeah, but she's going on my list of people I want to interview. And my list is growing and growing. So I can't wait to get some people on the show. In fact, I know exactly where I need to ask for help on that. So when I finish this, I'm going to get off and I'm going to do that. I'm going to ask a community that I'm part of for help and guidance. Because, yeah, I don't want that to be an excuse for holding me back from doing something that I've said I'm going to do. So guys, if you've got any questions or comments on anything I've talked about today, then please do send me a message. Best way to do this is on Instagram, but as usual, I will put the link in the show notes where you can also send me a message. I don't know if anyone's ever actually used that. I only ever really get messages through Instagram. So I don't know if anyone's ever used that because I've never received any. So I'm just hoping they've never gone to junk. But most people do tend to message me through Instagram. So yeah, if you've got any questions or comments on anything I've talked about, then please do send me a message. And as always, thank you for the person who did give me 5 stars last week. I did do a little plea last week for ratings and reviews. Oh my God, I'm looking out my window and my 89-year-old neighbour is stood on a stool or a chair or something, hanging up her washing. Oh God, if that was my nan, I'd be telling her off right now. Anyway, what was I saying? Ratings, reviews, yes. Thank you to the person that gave me 5 stars. And for those of you who are able to, please do go on to Apple podcasts and leave a review. Most of my listeners are on Spotify, and sadly you can't leave a written review on Spotify, which is a great shame. So if you do listen on Apple, then please do take the time to leave a written review, because it will help me reach other people. Like I say, most of my listeners are on Spotify, so I would like to have that Apple reach as well. And leaving me a written review would massively help with that. I wish you all an amazing week. I'm really looking forward to the weekend because Craig's away this week. He's over in New York, sadly. I'm not jealous at all. He's not sending me pictures of the Empire State Building, and I love it. I'm very jealous. But he's back on Saturday. So obviously I'm really looking forward to the weekend. And I think it's actually Mother's Day this weekend as well, actually. I better get my ass in gear out over that and get some Mother's Day gifts sorted. But wherever you are in the world, guys, have a lovely weekend, whatever you're doing. And I will speak to you all next week. Bye-bye.